Yeah, this is a scary one. Hello, I am the Irish guy, and okay, back on the previous channel, which must not be named, by the way, which is still alive and kicking, sort of. I did a video where I looked at who every Premier League club will be managed by in 2030. Yeah, this was made in March 2020. Trying to guess each club's manager 10 years in advance is bonkers. So lads, we're nearly 6 years on, okay? My face now looks like a slightly older splattered pancake, so let's just see if these predictions are on track, or if they've aged like cat milk.
I hope you will be here come 2030.
Yeah, no, I am not on that channel, but I am on this channel and the Irish Guy Extra. Just pure unedited waffled nonsense. Right, let's go.
Arsenal, Julian Nagelsmann. By 2030, he'll only be 42 years of age. So yeah, let's say Arsenal.
So according to the ramblings of this insane McNugget, with a haircut that looks like it was created in the dark, apparently Julian Nagelsmann will be Arsenal manager in 4 years' time. Has it aged like complete sour milk? No, I don't think this one is completely crazy at all, because Nagelsmann sort of paused his club career after getting stupidly sacked by Bayern Munich. He's since gone on to take the Germany job at such a ridiculously young age. Seriously, imagine being responsible for the hopes of one of the biggest football powerhouse nations on the planet. This man must be immune to such incredible levels of pressure at such a young age. I wouldn't be shocked to hear that when he was at school, he used to finish his homework while sitting on the roof. Nothing seems to faze this guy. But when he finally returns to put his name back in the hat for club football, entering the pool again, then yeah, I think Arsenal in 2030 still makes perfect sense.
Aston Villa, Leonardo Jardim. Yeah, you're probably wondering why on earth I've reduced Leonardo Jardim to no doubt mid-table mediocrity with Aston Villa. Yeah, why not? Jardim at Villa makes a bit of sense.
Wow, back when I made this video, I was really talking about how Aston Villa were beneath Leonardo Jardim. That him choosing to take the Villa job would be doing them a massive favour. You know, the guy who lost his Monaco job to Thierry Henry, which, I mean, damaged his reputation so badly. He might as well have handed over the managerial reins to some loon dressed as Bugs Bunny. So I really thought that an ambitious up-and-coming club with money like Aston Villa would be lucky to get this old man. Yeah, he's already on to his 5th different job since I made this video. He's managed Al Shabab, Al Ahly, Al Rayyan, Al Ain. Seriously, this man's clearly ticking off every Al on his list. Give it 5 years, it'll be dressed as a penguin at Al's toy barn. But yeah, after spending clearly half the decade as a shameless mercenary, robbing the Saudi bank, he's now in Brazil with Cruzeiro, where he's managing Yannick Bolasie. Yeah, forget about Villa being lucky to get your team. Oh no, this man would probably eat all his fingers to even get a sniff of the Premier League now. Yeah, no, I really don't think that a mid-50s Jardim is coming anywhere near Aston Villa. If that does happen, then I will eat chocolate off an old woman's forehead. Please no.
Bournemouth, Simon Francis. By 2030, the Bournemouth are going to be chained to the foot of League 2 with just the faintest memories of Premier League football and big money signings.
Chained to the foot of League 2? Bournemouth?
So yeah, why not a 45-year-old Simon Francis holding the reins of power? If Scott Parker can become manager of Fulham, then yeah, why not Francis at Bournemouth?
Oh, I actually mentioned Scott Parker. I actually mentioned the future Bournemouth boss. I had all the jigsaw puzzle pieces in my hand, and I chose to stuff them up my nose instead. This feels like a video I did back in 2019, where I looked at where every club's most overrated player would be by 2025, and look at what I said for West Ham.
West Ham, Jack Wilshere, Luton Town. In 5 years, he'll be 32, and assuming he hasn't been confined to a wheelchair, or at the very least being asked to retire, I'm guessing he'll be back where it all started at boyhood club Luton Town.
I said Jack Wilshere would be at Luton Town. He is! I mean, okay, I thought he'd be there as a player. No, instead, he's just been unveiled as their manager. I predicted Wilshere's future. But, I mean, actually no, because back in 2019, I also did a video looking at every Premier League club and finding one player who would not, categorically, would not become a manager in the future. And, again, what did I say for West Ham?
West Ham, Jack Wilshere. Again, for the same reason as Welbeck. Once Jack Wilshere retires, he's probably going to pack up his bags and leave the sport forever. The poor fella probably wishes he'd retired already.
I'm confused. Was I right about Wilshere or not? But look, as for Simon Francis, alright, okay. The 40-year-old does indeed work for the Cherries as the assistant technical director. Feels very Gareth Keenan. What does he do? Just fetch Thiago Pinto his tea? Yeah, I said this guy would manage Bournemouth. Instead, his biggest responsibilities are deciding whether or not to put marshmallows in Pinto's hot chocolate. Seriously, poor old Francis might cut the crust off his sandwiches too. Maybe, but yeah, he's assistant technical director. You don't go from Andoni Iraola to Simon Francis inside 5 years. No. If he does become the manager, then I will march into HMVs and chew every DVD box until someone asks me to leave.
Brighton, Roy Keane. By 2030, I'm guessing Brighton are going to be stuck halfway down League 1, and they'll probably try to appease a furious fan base. No doubt still dreaming of top-flight football with the big name appointment of Keane. It'll probably end in certain tears.
Roy Keane at Brighton. Roy Keane at Brighton. Lads, Brighton are a club who have a model of appointing managers nobody has ever heard of. Yeah. My mum knows who Roy Keane is. He's one of the most famous football figures in the world. He's been retired nearly 20 years and probably still can't pop down to his local deli for some chips without being bothered by chumps. Well, lads, Brighton want young hipster coaches with crazy footballing philosophies. Keane's idea of tactics now is just choosing to turn up early enough so he doesn't have to sit beside Jill. Okay, sorry, that was mean. I'm sure Jill is nice. Lads, Keane is never going to manage ever again. Since this video, all he's done is fail a meeting with Sunderland, and he's since turned into probably the most expensive pundit in the world. No chance do we ever see him in the Premier League again. No, no, no. This is a terrible shout. I might Keane for Brighton. I might as well sit here now and say that by 2030, the Jedward twins will be joint presidents of Ireland. No.
Burnley, Wayne Rooney. Yeah, I think we can all agree Wayne Rooney is going to become a manager one day soon. Lads, just because you're a great player for Man United doesn't automatically translate into you being a world-class manager. I have a feeling Rooney will join a long, endless list of bang-average coaches who once played under Fergie, and yeah, he'll be championship standard with Burnley within a decade.
Yeah, Wayne Rooney did indeed become a manager. Just not a good one. And I think he's had too many terrible jobs to ever be picked by anyone again. It's those failures at Birmingham and Plymouth which just sentence him to having to become a pundit instead. And lads, if there was ever one player I did not see growing up to have a BBC podcast and become a pundit on Match of the Day, oh, it's the guy who, when he talks, sounds like he's constantly chewing a mouthful of cake. It's actually sort of crazy that he managed to begin and finish his managerial career before he even turned 40. Lads, 2 years after I made this video, his stock was surprisingly high. I mean, seriously, back in January 2022, he was Derby County boss, and he was turning down a job interview at Everton. An Everton team would recently had Ancelotti at the wheel. He must really regret saying no to his dream toffees job now. But yeah, I mean, Rooney at Burnley? No.
Chelsea, John Terry. So yeah, by 2030, a 49-year-old Terry, after spending the decade serving as both number 2 and earning his stripes in lower league football, will finally get the gig at Stamford Bridge.
Out of every player I grew up watching, John Terry is the biggest shock to me how he is not a manager. Seriously, he was the quintessential nailed-on future manager after he ran the Chelsea dressing room for a solid 15 years. Come on, an England captain, legendary centre-half, who even went into the coaching on the backroom team at Aston Villa and was laughably given a job interview to replace Rafa Benitez at Newcastle. Yeah, the same summer the Magpies were getting declined by Arteta and Big Sam. That is such a mishmash of potential candidates. It's like your sister telling you that she went on a date with Harry Styles and also the Cookie Monster. What? But yeah, Terry lost out to Steve Bruce, and I still thought he'd be the Chelsea boss. Yeah, right now he's 44, briefly coached at Leicester after following Dean Smith around like a lovesick puppy. Seriously, I mean, he could have followed Smith to the MLS, I suppose, but hey, I'm guessing Terry telling his wife that he's going to Charlotte probably would have had him sleeping on the couch. I said Terry would manage Chelsea, and he since managed that baller league against Angry Ginge. And right now he helps out in the Chelsea Academy and has just fully given up. I'm shocked too. How can a mute footballer like Zidane grow up to win 3 Champions Leagues as manager, and yet the most vocal football leader on the pitch spends his days coaching players so young, he probably has to reward them all with lollipops?
Crystal Palace, Sol Campbell. Another man who's taking things slowly, one of the greatest minds in the sport, is now into his second management gig with Southend following Macclesfield Town. By 2030, he'll get his return to London via Crystal Palace, trying in earnest to drag them into the Championship playoffs.
Sol Campbell. No. I mean, Crystal Palace did hire one Arsenal Invincible legend after this, but it wasn't Sol, it was Vieira. Campbell has not managed in 5 years after getting Southend relegated to League 2, and I fully don't know what he does now. I mean, he since briefly wobbled onto the overlap to make that episode more awkward than being caught pooing in your mum's purse, but otherwise, yeah, I think Campbell is done in football. This was a horrible shout.
Everton, Joey Barton's doing a good job at Fleetwood Town, getting this tiny club into the League One playoffs, playing some decent football along the way. I regret that Barton's was never getting to represent his boyhood Everton. Why not end up number 1 at Goodison Park by 2030?
No. He's never managing again. Lads, it was actually going okay for him, doing decently at Fleetwood Town and Bristol Rovers. He did have a 5-year management career, and he seemed to be alright at it. But he then discovered a podcast mic, and well, now, not a single Premier League club would ever pick up the phone. I mean, for a start, if the Toffees did appoint this man, then I think the women's team would immediately go on hunger strike until he leaves. Seriously, the ladies left back would probably be viciously eyeing up a multi-pack of Monster Munch whilst checking her phone for the Barton sack update. I am fully confident this man will never manage again, and definitely not Everton. This could be the worst shout so far. Sol Campbell and Joey awful.
Leicester, Ronald Koeman. Listen, I have a feeling by 2030, Leicester will be pushing up daisies in Championship football. By then, Koeman will be clearly past his best, and so like Sven-Göran Eriksson, will have just reduced himself to being a journeyman mercenary, accepting any job with a half-decent paycheck.
Okay, you know what? This one isn't totally nuts. Ronald Koeman has also taken himself out of the managerial dating pool with the Netherlands job. But when this former Barcelona boss returns, then yeah, I can absolutely see him take a high-profile job in the Championship. He has had so many different clubs, so yeah, I can absolutely still see Leicester in the future. When he's mid-60s and looking like Jesse Plemons' granddad, seriously, he'll be so old and grey that the young Leicester fans won't even know they've secretly got a ginger coach in charge. This one is not a horrible shout. It's okay.
Liverpool Steven Gerrard. I mean, who else am I going to pick? It's patently obvious that Steven Gerrard is using Rangers Football Club as nothing more than an audition for Liverpool. I have a feeling he's going to end up a pretty good manager for the Reds. And so yeah, by 2030 he'll still be there, finally lifting the league titles he never managed as a player.
No chance. I said Steven Gerrard was using Rangers as an audition for Liverpool. Yeah, he probably was. And to be fair, he did ace his exams, creating the Scottish Invincibles. But after losing his way at Aston Villa and Liverpool, I'm shocked to see Gerrard has just turned down a Rangers return. Come on. The 45-year-old's managerial career is in a muddy sink. He's living in Bahrain and has not managed in European football for 3 years. He is quickly becoming forgotten about. This Rangers job was a lifeline, a chance to rebuild his career and get another crack at the Prem. But saying no... What? No European club worth their salt is going to give Gerrard a ring? It's weird. This Rangers job would have saved you. And yet, there ain't no chance he's taking the Liverpool gig in 4 years' time. No, not even as an interim. There's about as much chance of me growing scrambled eggs at my nose. No, no, no.
Man City, Vincent Kompany. Okay, I realise Vincent Kompany's managerial career has started in embarrassing fashion. But do you honestly think this man is not going to have another crack at it? This man has future Manchester City manager written all over his oddly shaped head.
Yes! 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 I'm standing by this one. This is the best prediction in the list because I think, unless Man City gets slapped into oblivion by the courts, then yes, I really do think that their next manager is Vincent Kompany. I'm sticking with what I said 5 years ago because 5 years ago, yeah, both Gerrard and Lampard were leagues ahead of Kompany in everybody's eyes. Their stock was pretty big in 2020 whilst Kompany had so far failed as Anderlecht player manager, demoted back down to just being a player after a handful of games. So me still tipping him for Man City to one day replace Pep is a huge call because at the time of this video, Kompany had officially failed after losing nearly every week for a month. And as he had top players like Chadley, Doku and Nasri in his team, he looked like he had ruined his managerial career. But now 5 years later, and lads, he's got a realistic crack at winning the treble with Bayern Munich. His stock has multiplied since leaving Burnley, so yes, I'm going to say Man City boss in 2030. I believe now what I believed in 2020, even more so. And lads, if I really do manage to successfully predict this one 10 years in advance, then oh, please give me a crown made of gold. Keep your eyes peeled because if he replaces Pep, then I think NASA should send me a chocolate bunny in the post. Or at the very least, I should make the news. This is going to be crazy good.
Man United's Zinedine Zidane. Where will Man United be in 10 years? Surely back competing for the top prize in European football. Surely. 10 years is enough time to get it together. 57-year-old Zinedine Zidane, who by then will probably have at least 5 European Cups to his name. Yeah, he fits the bill.
No, probably not. I think Zinedine Zidane is one and done. The weirdest managerial career ever. 2 cracks at Real Madrid where he's ridiculously successful and so that's it. Doesn't challenge himself ever again because he doesn't need to. Zidane just said he wants to manage France one day and knowing his luck, he'll probably take that, win the World Cup and disappear again.
Newcastle Lee Caramel. We've seen in the past their choice as a manager have been borderline insane. We've also seen this club clearly aren't adverse to hiring former Sunderland employees. So yeah, why not? Why not appoint a knuckle-dragging former Sunderland captain? Nothing would surprise me about the way this club is run.
Well, this is the worst shout in the list. Lee Cattermole! I said that Newcastle were going to appoint a former Sunderland captain who smashed up 5 cars in the Newcastle city centre after a derby game or something. I don't know, he was accused of doing that anyway. But surely that would have instantly deleted any chance of Cattermole ever taking the reins when he was suspected in the past of what? Kicking wing mirrors all the way down Northumberland Street? What was this? This shout was ridiculous. These were clearly the ramblings of a man who'd gone insane because he was on to his 3rd successive week of no toilet paper. Lads, Cattermole has since retired, become Middlesbrough under-18s coach. He became a set-piece coach at Bristol Rovers, then became the caretaker manager, but then ran away before he even took charge of his first match. Maybe he was nervous, or maybe the chairman caught him doing a poo in his BMW. I don't know. Oh wow, what a dreadful shout.
Norwich Ross Embleton. Most of you probably don't have a clue who this guy is. Let me illuminate it, lads. Ross Embleton is 38 years of age, Lake Norwegian boss. The man has a CV consisting of youth development in the academies of Spurs, Bournemouth and Norwich, so yeah, why not a return to the Canaries as number 1?
Huh? Even I forget who this guy is. Ross Embleton is now 43 and the current academy head of recruitment for West Ham.
Sheffield United Billy Sharp. Yeah, you can definitely see this one coming, can't you? Billy Sharp, a bona fide Sheffield United legend. After 3 spells at the club, yeah, why not? Why not end up coaching the club as well? He'll be 44 years of age by then, while the Blades will probably be lower half championship standard.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, considering Billy Sharp is still playing for Doncaster now, just a few months off his 40th birthday, then if he does get into management, he's going to be an old manager. Sheffield United within 4 years? Maybe, but I mean, knowing them, it'll probably still be Chris Wilder.
Southampton, Kieran McKenna. Yeah, here's a man you've probably never heard of. Why not a half-decent championship gig with Southampton in his early 40s? Unless he wants to spend his entire life coaching teenagers.
Wow, 5 years ago, I didn't think anybody would know who Kieran McKenna was. Yeah, last year, he was being heavily linked to both Chelsea and Man United. I think if our promising young coach like Kieran McKenna was at Southampton, 10 years deep into his managerial career, I think he'd burst into tears. I mean, maybe, I mean, if Ipswich don't get promoted this season, then McKenna's reputation will have taken another giant whack. So maybe he could be Southampton by 2030. Maybe.
Adam Diego Simeone. Surely we have to see Diego Simeone in English football at some stage. So like Jose Mourinho, he'll be a big name trying to relight his spark on a big money contract at a club like Spurs.
No. Diego Simeone is never quitting Atletico Madrid for Spurs. No, next.
Watford, Giovanni Van Bronckhorst. So sorry, Van Bronckhorst. Yes, you probably have the ability to coach a top 4 club, but because of this stupid career decision, championship playoffs with Watford.
Because you have the ability to coach a top 4 club. Yeah, I know. I said coach, not manage. Coach. Yeah, he is currently coaching the Premier League champions. Gio Van Bronckhorst failed at Rangers and Besiktas, but because he's now got a higher profile job as being the assistant manager at Liverpool, then maybe that means he's not a completely forgotten teacup in football. And so yes, if he's successful at Anfield, then maybe Watford in the future, maybe. This one is not completely squished bananas. I'm okay with this one.
West Ham, Thomas Tuchel. Yeah, by 2030, West Ham will still be searching for big names, slightly past it managers. Step forward, Thomas Tuchel. Like Pellegrini, he'll have an impressive CV littered with European giants. But he'll also be 56 years of age, yesterday's man in European football, and so yeah.
What are you laughing at? Thomas Tuchel spent this week managing the West Ham captain, thank you very much. This isn't that insane. I mean, in 5 years' time, if West Ham have got their act together and they're still an ambitious club looking for Europe, then a 57-year-old Tuchel, maybe if the England job goes well, he might want to stick around in London and, yeah, get another decent job. This one is not that insane at all.
Wolves, Robbie Keane. Yes, step forward, the legendary Robbie Keane. Listen, this lad is working as assistant coach for Michael McCarthy with Ireland, and Jonathan Woodgate at Middlesbrough. Like Terry, this man is taking the long way round to get to management, as opposed to just jumping at any #1 gig with a paycheck. By 2030, he'll be 49 years of age, and yeah, back where it all started as a teenager in the late 90s.
Robbie Keane currently manages Ferencvaros, where he's responsible for Naby Keita. Yeah, big money Liverpool flops, babysitting big money Liverpool flops. Who's the dinner lady, Aquilani? It's so strange to see Keane coaching in Hungary, but hey, he's doing well. And maybe he might get noticed by the English team soon. Come on, he is managing in the Europa League. This isn't me suggesting the Wolves go out there and just hire some chubby bloke from Soccer Raid. No, he is a fully fledged, absolutely competent manager. I mean, he recently won a game 15-0 away from home. Gary O'Neill could never. He'll be facing off against Rangers soon, which for our former Celtic striker is going to be spicier than a mouthful of burnt chicken wings. He's actually got his first ever managerial match in England coming up against Nottingham Forest in January, where Keane will probably go head to head with someone weird like Sean Dyche. Don't get me started. But lads, seriously, I think this is going to be Keane's breakout season as manager, where he puts himself on the map and so you know what? Yeah, why not? I'll stick by this one. Wolves by 2030. Why not? Okay, looking back on that, there were some absolutely grisly shouts in that. Campbell, Barton, some of the Roy Keane at Brighton. Some of these are absolutely inexcusable. What was I thinking in 2020? Absolutely shocking, insane, stupid. That's all there is for this. Stupid. Anyway, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, share, and I'll talk to you in a while.